tin of Vaseline. Here in the UK, you can buy these for about £1, something like that, £1.50 in a deer store. Some fluorescent Boilie Dye to hopefully give it the fluorescent colour. Some aniseed, however much I want. This is basically from the carp fishing guys, all of this. The Boilie Dye comes with a little spoon, little cocktail stick, and I've got hold of some little syringes because I just want to add a drop for the moment. Aniseed is very strong stuff, and I know that it's in a lot of the commercial bait additives, so I know that wrasse that I might be using this for particularly like aniseed. So I'll start off with just one drop and I'll experiment with that, see how that goes. If I feel I should be getting more bites, then I'll add another drop and carry on like that. That's the beauty of this stuff. You can just, you know, if you got it all, you can add another drop to that same tin and see if that makes any difference at all. So we'll see how it goes. It's a bit of an experiment. I use the Vaseline with fluorescent colouring in it before, and I've even made my own before, just not with this Boilie Dye. I think this is a bit more fish friendly. It's put in boilies that the carp anglers use, so it must be fish friendly. They wouldn't be doing it otherwise, would they? I don't know, you tell me. So first off, I'm going to try the fluorescent Boilie Dye. I know I've got the bag open. As I say, it comes with a little spoon, so you can decide how much of this you want to put in, and I'm just going to scoop a little bit out. I want it to be pretty fluorescent, to be honest. I'm going to go for sort of half of that teaspoon. Maybe not quite that much, actually. Let's say 1/4 of a teaspoon. But yeah, it's an experiment. Do it on something that's not going to cause your missus to complain. I'm doing it on my filming board here, which I'm hoping is not going to stain, but you never know, do you? So I'm just going to mix that in first and see what we get. A bit like cooking, isn't it? You can see I'm making a mess already. That's me all over. Should be called, rather than the constant angler, the messy angler. And you can see I'm really getting that effect I want here. Now, why am I doing this? Why am I adding this fluorescent to it? You could add UV. I've seen you can get UV powders and dyes now that you can add. UV lures are all the rage at the moment. By the looks of things, you know, that is pretty fluorescent. If you mix it around nicely, you get an even consistency. And why am I doing this? Well, I like to hotspot my hook point on lures. You'll notice in a lot of creatures you find in the sea and other places, they have this bioluminescence. So I guess really we want something luminous, but all we can find at the moment is this fluorescent dye. Now it's going to achieve the same thing, I'm sure, but we'll see. We'll try it in the sea and see if we can't see it. So I'm pretty happy with that consistency of that. So all that remains now is to add some flavour, your chosen flavour. Now flavours I like aniseed. I like a substance called Bellicon, but it's brown. And I add it to that and you lose the fluorescence. It just doesn't work. So if it's a dark additive, you've got to be prepared to lose some of this fluorescence. Bellicon is a shrimp-based thing that carp anglers use as well. If you haven't guessed already, I used to do a lot of carp fishing, and Bellicon was a great additive for carp. And it's a salty shrimp flavour, so it's not going to put any fish off, is it? I mean, they eat shrimp, wrasse and creatures like that, or at least I think they do. Convinced they do. And as I said, aniseed works, but you could try all sorts of things. You could try, you know, if you can find some clear additives like this by this company called Richworth, there's lots of other carp additive so you can find all over the place. You could add anything you want into that. Ones I know work are aniseed and Bellicon. Anything shrimp based like krill, something like that, you can find those flavourings now. They'll all work. You've just got to define the level that's required for your needs. So this is where adding a drop, mixing it in, trying it out over the course of a few sessions, see if it works, see if it doesn't. This is really experimenting coming. I can always add another drop to that and I haven't ruined anything, have I? Well, hopefully not. And these pipettes make that so much easier. So I'm just going to suck a bit up. And I'm not going to waste any of this, anything left in there. And I'm just going to add a drop. I think it was just a drop. It stinks to high heaven, this. You can keep your syringe, can't you? And all you've got to do is mix that in now. so make even more of a mess. So mix it in thoroughly, but you can see how easy this is to do. And the beauty of these little tins is you can just pop them in your pocket, pop them in your lure bag, away you go. It's a bit messy, but this cocktail stick is doing the job. Make sure you get it all around the edges, like baking a cake. Make your mix nice and smooth. Now, why do we hot spot? Well, we hot spot because sometimes fish of all species are fussy. They are biting tentatively. There's the finished product, you can see it there. And by making this hot spot, it's a strike point. And if you put that next to your hook, they're more likely to see that and strike at that point. It's a focal point for them. You'll see prawns, I've noticed, have it on them. I'm not sure why they have that, but I'm sure this is what fish home in on. There's a lot of plankton and things like that as well, aren't there? But yeah, that's hot spotting is a tip I've used for years, I was told by a very old wrasse angler. So yeah, easy to do. Give it a whirl, experiment. In hindsight, I'd probably have added less dye than that. But I don't know how this is going to react over a period of time because it's a new dye I'm using. I'm unable to source what I did before. Anyway, hope that helps. Hope you enjoyed that. The Constant Angler. As you can see, I've got a Missile Baits beaver bait here, and I put a little bit of the luminous dye or fluorescent dye scent that I made, and you can see how you could easily hot spot a point on the bait. Put your hook point there where that is on the bait, and the fish might strike there. It might give it a focal point to strike on. You can see how fluorescent that is, and that's what you're trying to achieve. You've got this Vaseline and the fluorescent Boilie Dye I used, and some aniseed in that. You've made your own scent, but also your own attractor in another way by having that fluorescence there.